called Facchina, okay? I own Sky Zone Waldorf and I own Sky Zone Bowie, okay? I created this program, sorry, this thing is just driving me nuts. I created this program. It's a faith-based financial seminar. And basically what happens in life is there's always this disconnect between business owners and employees and people, and you don't understand the whole story behind how something happens. And the other biggest misnomer that's out there is that God has no place in business. People think that in order to be successful, you just gotta put money as your God, your business as your God. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell you my story and how God impacted my life, because if it wasn't for what happened to me, I wouldn't own 2 Sky Zones right now. And the other thing that's gonna happen in your lives, especially right now, there's so much noise and there's so much hate and there's so much disconnect, and they're trying to take God out of everything and trying to separate people and trying to do stuff. I don't play that. I am all about God and what He can do for everyone. Bring people together and do that stuff. And there's going to be things that happen in your life that you're not going to like. Bad things happen to good people all day long. There's no explanation for it. I can't explain it. I don't live in your shoes. You don't live in my shoes. But what we're going to do today is I'm going to take you on my journey. Okay? But before we do that, I like to do this thing. It's a little fun for me. There we are, right here. All right, you take this. We're going to do 2 things. First and foremost, this is interactive. We're going to talk, okay? Not just me up here talking to you, okay? I want you guys to get a look. I'm a high energy lunatic, all right? I'm going to be going back and forth, all right? I'm a tiger in a cage, all right? But we're going to do 2 things. First and foremost, I just need 5 items. I want you guys to tell me what your goals and dreams are in life. I just need 5 of them. So just yell them out to Portia.
Anybody can yell them out.
What's your goal?
Be successful.
Success, right? Okay.
Be a real estate developer.
Oh, there you go. Hey, we can talk about that. And with success, what's your idea of success? Who said that one?
I say that, man.
What's success to you?
Just being generally wealthy and generally not having to worry about money.
Okay, so wealthy, right? Success, wealthy. Okay, that's
Anyone else?
Financially stable.
financial stability, all right? Anything else?
Space engineer, and to be able to provide for my family.
There you go. Space engineer, you know what I mean? But say good career. That's what we're seeing. We're hearing people talk about having a very good career in life, right? Anything else back there? You guys got an idea?
Where are my ladies? Lyric, Tanya, Kadada, Ava. Come on, y'all. What's the goal?
Okay, higher
College.
education. He wants a PhD, higher education. That's another good one. Okay, so now we've shared some dreams, right? Some goals and some dreams. Now here's the other thing I like to do, okay? Everybody walked in here, you saw me. You automatically drew a conclusion about me. Now you can't hurt my feelings, all right? I want you guys to stereotype me. You're not going to hurt my feelings. What are the first 5 things that come to your mind when you see me? Be honest. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Go ahead.
And we're going to give double tickets for this
I
one.
promise he will not get offended.
I will not get offended.
A biker dude.
Huh?
A biker dude.
A biker dude. Okay. That's a funny
biker dude.
All right.
You like to talk.
Huh?
You like to talk.
All right, I like to talk. All right, big mouth. Wouldn't say that.
I thought you did weights for
All right, little weight lifted. Yeah, I've lifted weights my whole life. Anything else?
You got a lot of energy.
Energy, high energy. Okay. One more.
She has one.
Character type?
What's that?
Character type, you know,
I can't.
your energy like a character type person? You can be like a character.
A pastor?
Oh, pastor. I like that one.
You are Pastor Paul Way. I'll give you that.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to get some Jesus today. Let me say that. Pastor Paul.
Okay, she thinks she looked like a farm animal, and
Oh, farm animal.
What did you say? It was so hard to hear with the mouth.
Like you raise animals on a farm.
Oh,
okay.
My wife's got the horses, all right?
And you have chickens.
Yeah, I don't have anything. My wife
Make sure
has.
she gets
Do we have any more? Because we can add them. Because this is funny.
A leader.
A leader, okay. He looks like a leader? Okay. Any other? He looks like a dad.
I do have kids, that's right. They don't listen, though. I don't know about that. That's the teenage
That
thing.
was fun. He looks like a dad. Okay.
All right, so real quick, just about me, I just put a couple pictures up here so you guys can know who I am now that you said that. One, I travel the world. I'm an archery hunter. I take my bow and I travel all over the world, and I've harvested a lot of big game. People don't like. What's up, my brother?
You too.
Good to see. So that's what I do for my hobby. All right. So I got a big elk with my bow. I was in Alaska in October hunting grizzly bear up in the Facchina mountains. Walked 62 miles in a week. Lived in a little tent. That was insane. I got some good friends like Gary Clark, who played for the Washington Redskins. He's been here. He's a very good friend of mine. We did a TV show. I was also actually a first responder at the Pentagon after the attacks. And I'm going to tell you about my previous life in construction. So I was there 9/11 working with the military and FEMA in what we hoped was a search and rescue mission, but unfortunately it was a recovery mission. So I was there when the bodies were removed from the wreckage. Okay? And I'm an entrepreneur. I own the Sky Zones. I also branded the pizza called Paulie's Pizza. You're going to eat my pizza. So here's the other thing we're going to do today when we're eating the pizza. You're going to say, I love Paulie's Pizza, and make a muscle, and I'm going to videotape you. You're going to be famous on the internet, all right? We're going to have fun with that, okay? But that's a little bit about me, all right? We're going to get into it too. So I'm going to tell you my testimony, but it's important. I'm going to throw some scripture at you, and I want you to understand this. And you don't have to memorize it, but it's important to understand this is not my word, this is God's word. Okay? You are going to face difficulty in your life. It is a guarantee that your life will not be a bed of roses. Mine was not at all. It's going to happen, but it's what you do. This scripture is 2 Corinthians 12:10. It says, that is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weakness, in insults, in hardships, for when I am weak, then I am strong. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you my testimony. There are going to be times where you feel like the world is against you, and you're down and out. You're knocked down. Because I was on my basement floor knocked down. But with God in your heart, that time that you're weak, He will bring you strength. He will bring you through it. Trust me, I lived it. So just trust me when I tell you that. So here's my story. All right, I was born and raised in the construction industry. These hands are calloused. I've laid pipe. I've poured concrete. This chest doesn't come from the gym. It comes from the front of a concrete pump. All right? I've poured concrete in metro stations. I've worked hard. I'm a blue-collar, hard-working guy. That's where I come from. Right? Well, my father started a construction company when I was leaving high school going to college. I spent my entire career coming from a concrete laborer all the way up through the system. I learned the accounting, the engineering, all of it. All phases of a business I touched till the point that I became an executive division manager. A lot of the roads here in Southern Maryland, I built. A lot of the neighborhoods here, I built. So I took this division and grew it, and it was very successful. I worked hard. Well, one day my father comes to me and says, hey, I'm going to sell the company. I'm like, what do you mean you're going to sell the company? I've dedicated 27 years to the business. We talk about legacy. We talk about this stuff. You're going to sell it. What's that mean to me? I'm 45 years old. I've dedicated my life. Well, he sells the company. 8 months after the company is sold, the new regime, the new people came, and a guy that I knew and I trusted for 20 years was the CEO now. He calls me into his office, and this is a true story, takes my employment contract, literally throws it in my face and tells me I'm fired. So this is a guy that I called brother, that I worked with, betrayed me. Betrayal hurts. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced it. You know what I mean? Betrayal is not good. Forsakingness hurts. Everybody that I knew, all my friends, everybody I hung out with, they come over to my house, we hang out, right? Hey, we're brothers. Left me for dead on my basement floor. So the other part of this is you think you're friends with people, but then you find out what the truth is. So there I am, laid out on my basement floor, not knowing what I'm going to do. Like you said, I'm a father, right? I got kids. I got a house. I lost my job. Everything I knew. What am I going to do? It was not a good time. I was knocked out emotionally like you wouldn't believe. But there came a time where I wasn't going to lay there, right? So I got up. I never laid in bed and felt sorry for myself. I want you guys to know that because we're going to talk about this. I did not do anything. I just made calls, started doing stuff, started a construction consulting company. I still own that right now. So I own 2 Sky Zones and a construction management company. I'm busy, right? So I started that business. I'm rolling, right? I'm doing something, right? Still embarrassed. Everywhere I go in the community, hey, what happened to you? What's going on? I had to explain the story time and time again. And believe me when I tell you I was angry, the only thing I want to do is go punch that guy in the face. That's just the truth. That's what I wanted to do. But I knew I couldn't do it, right? I was mad. Well, here's where God starts coming in, right? When you think you're down and out, when you're weak, right? I'm getting insulted. I'm embarrassed everywhere I go. And this is just the truth. I laid there on my floor and I said, God, my plan didn't work. I didn't do anything wrong. That's the other part. I was not doing anything wrong at work. I was working. And I got fired. For no reason. Just because of my name, they fired me. So I'm like, it didn't work. Show me. Show me your plan. And let me tell you something. And this is how God is. Right? We want to believe in ourselves. The world tells us, be strong. I don't care. Women, you are empowered now. Be strong. Women, men, everybody be strong. The only problem with it, you have to be. But it's where you direct it and who is guiding you in your strength. And that's what I had to learn. I had to take my energy and my anger and all this stuff, and I had to say, okay, God, you know where I'm at. I'm mad, I'm hurt, I'm sad. What am I going to do? Show me. You just got to surrender. You got to say, here it is. What do you want? And the second that happened, things started to change a little bit. And here's the interesting thing. In May, that was in January 2015. So the beginning of the year, that's where my year started, right? I put out my resume and I had a headhunter helping me. And make a long story short, they got me in touch with this company out of New York to be an executive for this company. And I'm like, here we go. I'm going to become an executive of this company. I'm going to steal the guys from my old company, and I'm going to go do this. I'm going to get everything that I want because they fired me. And that was where my mind was. I'm going to get revenge. I'm going to show you. I am going to show you how you screwed up by doing that to me. So I went on all these interviews, and they give me my train ticket, and I get in a train, and I go up to Manhattan. 3 o'clock in the morning, get up, I take the big train, go to Manhattan, and get in the big office overlooking New York, and in comes this guy that's the CEO of the company. This is my last interview. I'm going to get this job with the big salary, and the revenge is going to be mine. The whole time up on that train, something wasn't right. And here's what I'm going to tell you. There's a reason why the word stink is an instinct. You ever get that feeling in the back of your head where you're about to do something and you know you're not supposed to be doing it? Where it's not right and you cannot figure out what it is? You don't know, but you know. There's something about what you're about to do that tells you something it's not right. It's not working. Maybe I shouldn't. Sometimes it's real easy. Sometimes it's not so easy. But you have an instinct. That's God in you talking to you, telling you you're about to do something that God doesn't want you to do. The whole time on that train in New York, all I prayed for, and I've never used this word in my life, okay, was clarity. Something was amiss in my mind and in my soul. So I'm like, God, just give me clarity. If this is what I'm supposed to do, because I want that revenge, but something's not right. 5 minutes into my interview with this guy in New York, everything I want is right here. This guy was ranting and raving. I said, nope. I'm not going to take this job. Everything I wanted was right there. The revenge was right there. I get home from that interview, send the guy an email. Sorry, I'm not your guy. Walked away from it. And I can't tell you why. But other than that little instinct told me not to. A couple months later, my wife books my son's birthday at Sky Zone in Columbia. I walked in there, and that same instinct that was saying no said there's something here. I left that Sky Zone, and I am not a research guy. As you know, I'm high energy. I got ADHD like a champ, okay? Let me tell you. If you got it, embrace it. Trust me, that's power. Just embrace it, okay? But I got out of there, and I researched it. And I'm not the guy to research anything, okay? You need help on a paper, I'm not your research guy, okay? It's just not going to happen, all right? I was in a Sky Zone for 1 hour, researched it, and this was in July. In September, I'm in LA with the check buying a Sky Zone. Don't know why. Have no clue why. I don't have the financing yet. I don't have a building to put a Sky Zone in yet. I just learned how to spell Sky Zone when I put it on the check. But I went, nobody taught me how to negotiate a franchise contract. Nobody taught me how to negotiate a commercial lease. Nothing. But I knew there was something that told me to go for it. And I went for it. A year later, 1 year, so I bought it September 15th. I'm in Sky Zone Corporate. September 27th, the following year, this place opens. Nobody in the history of Sky Zone has ever done that in a year. Never happened. I worked 16 hours a day, did everything I could, put my heart, my soul, every dime I had into opening this. Sky Zone buoy, opportunity comes. There's people that bought Sky Zone territory before me. They came to me and said, Paul, we can't get it done. We see what you did. Will you be our partner? I said, sure. I want a second one. Well, the instinct, the stink. These guys came to me and I met with them and they were nice guys. but they didn't have their stuff together. And what I found through my little research is I can't partner with them. I wanted the Sky Zone. Again, here we are. I wanted the second territory. Here's what I want. But something told me not to do it with them. So I tell Sky Zone, look, I want it, but I can't do it with them. They don't have their stuff together. Well, 2 months later, Sky Zone calls me and says, hey, they lost the territory. Do you want it? I got the whole thing myself by listening to that instinct. December 2018, I opened the second park. So I go from flat on my back, losing everything. Everybody, everything that I knew and loved, to owning 2 Sky Zones, owning a construction management firm, and setting up another company that I do hard money loans on real estate deals. So I got 4 businesses that I operate right now. That is my testimony. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, there's some basic principles, okay? There's 5 traits that I learned that I'm going to share with you. What I learned from my experience to overcome adversity. Adversity is going to come in your life. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it to you, but it's going to happen. And the question is, what are you going to do when it happens? And I'm going to share with you what I learned. And I hope that you take this and use it, okay? So the first thing, there's some ugly words that in today's world people don't want you to talk about. One of them is humility. Humility all of a sudden is out of our culture. We live in a secular world that's called postmodern relativism. And what that basically means is your right is right for you. No, that's hogwash. That's hogwash. There's truth, there's God's truth, and everything else. And here's the thing that happened to me. I was humbled. I had the corner office with the window, 200 people working for me, and I was living the life. I was good. But guess what? I got humbled. And humbled, 2 Corinthians says, when you've done everything you can do, that's when God will step in and do what you can't. Humility will put God in charge of your life. Because that's when you learn that you don't have everything in control. You don't. You want to believe it. We're told we do. We're empowered. We got information. But guess what? You're not. You got to put God first. And that humility, that point to where you learn it and you got to eat it. It's tough. Right? You can find a new life through brokenness. But you got to be honest with yourself at what happened. You have to. Because if you're not honest with yourself, guess what? You're going to be in the same situation. Humility will do that for you. And again, there's all kinds of scripture that talks about how God's light will shine the brightest in the darkest places. The truth is, I was flat on my back in my basement, and I'll be honest, I cried. I didn't know what I was going to do. But here, this is a testimony to God, not me. It's because I gave it to him. Okay? Humility is extremely important. The other 2 words people don't like, discipline and obedience, right? Nobody wants to talk about discipline. I mean, they think discipline is always a negative attribute, right? You get disciplined if you do something wrong. No, don't look at it like that. Discipline is focus. Discipline is knowing, hey, I just bought a Sky Zone, and if I'm not disciplined in making sure that I'm doing everything I need to do financially, I'm going to fail. Discipline is doing your homework when it's due. right? Not waiting to the last minute. If you play sports, what do you learn in sports from your coach? Discipline. Know your position. Know the play, right? That is discipline, being focused, right? And you have to be laser focused. You guys know who Henry Ford is? Anybody know who Henry Ford is? Yeah, who's Henry Ford?
He created a full car.
The Ford Motor Company, right? He's got a saying. Obstacles are what one sees when one takes their eyes off of their goal. Okay? You have to have laser focus on the goal. You have goals. You want higher education. What are you going to do for your higher education to get that PhD? Right? Financial stability. What are you going to do? You have to focus. It's not something you just wake up and say, I got 5 minutes. Let me just come over here for 5 minutes and do this, and then I'm going to go over here and play my video game. It's focus. It's discipline. Blessed are those who hear the word of God and obey it. You have to have obedience to this discipline. I was working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week to get this thing open. You know why? Because I've already tasted failure. I always tasted the dark side. I already knew what I didn't want. So I hung in there and I worked and I was disciplined. Here's the other thing that keeps people from being disciplined. Fear, right? Fear will hold you back. But do you understand what fear is? Fear is an acronym for false evidence appearing real. So what does that mean? That means you psych yourself out. Was I afraid to take this leap and put my house and everything I had on the line to open a Sky Zone? Yes. But there's no evidence saying that I can't succeed doing it. It was me psyching myself out. How many times you psyched yourself out? How many times you've been challenged and somebody says, hey, look, you can do this, and you're like, nah, not me. Why not you? That's fear. That's false. That's you playing a head game with yourself. Nobody thought I could do anything. I'm going to tell you, here's the truth. When I bought Sky Zone, you know what people said I was? Stupid. That's the dumbest thing you could do. I had people literally tell me, dumb idea, Paul. What are you doing? Oh, you buying a little bouncy house? I heard that one too. Yeah, that's what I heard, bouncy. I'm like, I'm going to bounce you right now. I'll show you bouncy house. Right? I mean, that's the way I was. Do not live in fear. Fear is fake. Fear is Satan deceiving you that you can't do what you want, what you can do. Do not listen to fear. You got to be thoughtful. You got to have a plan. You got to be obedient and disciplined. But I'm telling you right now, you can do whatever you want to do. You just got to focus. Here's the other thing. And this is another ugly word, right? Work. Everybody thinks that the whole point of your life is for comfort. Everything you want to get financial stability so you can sit in the pool and relax. Right? Comfort is not the goal. You have to have a relentless work ethic. I work 7 days a week. I still spend time with my family, but I'm always working. I'm always grinding. I'm always looking for that opportunity. I'm always doing something productive. If something goes wrong in your life, if you get knocked down, you got to do something. You got to work, right? Funniest story, I tell you. I mean, when I got fired, I went to Virginia to see a buddy of mine, and he's a successful guy in construction bonding, whatever. But I'm sitting here talking to my friend, and I know you guys have friends like this, okay? You're hurting, right? You're upset. So you go see this friend to talk about how you're hurting. You know what he tells us? He talks about how, oh, I know, let me tell you about me, right? You're like, come on, man, I just want to talk. I'm hurting. But my friend is just talking, right? And I'm like, I didn't come over here to listen to you. I came over here for you to listen to me, right? But I looked like an old Godzilla movie, right? Because all I saw his lips were moving. He's like, and I'm not hearing anything. Except for one thing he said. He goes, oh, Paul, let me tell you what, buddy. When this stuff happened to me, I laid in bed for 6 months. And I didn't do nothing. I grew a beard. I was in my pajamas. I couldn't do anything. And he's like deflated. You know how people's shoulders go down, right? And I'm listening, and all I hear the rest of that 2-hour lunch is 6 months. 6 months. I went home. I had a desktop calendar, and I started flipping it. I'm like, 1, 2, and I'm like, holy crap, that's a lot of days of doing nothing. I'm like, I ain't gonna do that. That was the biggest motivation, because I'm like, I started counting. I'm like, what does 6 months look like? Not this cat. You have to work. You always have to be doing something productive, no matter how bad it is. On a bad day, like on a good day, I'll do 100 things. On a bad day, I don't care if I do 5, but you know what? I'm gonna do 5 things good. Every day, what are you doing? You gotta be productive. And it's the power of action, right? Doing something. Nothing is nothing. And this is the dichotomy between doing and wanting. Here's the things that'll blow your mind. The more that you want, the less that you do. The more you're doing, the less you want. If you spend your time productively and you're doing something, it's funny, you don't really want as much. That thing that's important to you right now, that all you're doing is wanting, I want that game, I want this, I want this clothes or something. I want that car, I want that bike, right? If you're actually being productive, that's not that important to you. It doesn't mean anything. Remember, the more you do, the less you want. You're in charge of what you're doing. And here's the other thing. Higher education people. Capacity, right? How does a balloon, if you imagine a balloon, when you take a balloon, it's limp, right? You put air in it, it starts to expand. What causes that balloon to expand? The air pressure, right? If all your brain is going to be is a deflated balloon, you're not going to do anything. You have to fill it. You have to have stuff in your head. You need pressure to push you up because your altitude must increase in order to increase your aptitude. Right? The higher you get, the more you see. The whole point is you need pressure in your life. That's what's important to you. You have to fill yourself up. And that pressure at school, you have a choice. You're going to take that one class that's kind of hard, or you're going to go take the easy way out. Right? You're going to take that biology, or you're going to take this one. Right? You have a choice. But in order to increase yourself, you need pressure. You've got to have more capacity. And you're smarter than what you realize. A lot of times with that balloon, you blow into it, it gets like this. What happens? Can I put more? That balloon will stretch. Your brain is a balloon. What are you going to put into it? Right? And here's the other thing. Like I said, it ain't going to be easy. You're going to get knocked down. You're going to lose a fight. Figuratively, literally, you're going to get knocked down. But what are you going to do? Are you going to get up? Or are you going to make an excuse? Right? It's going to happen. I had every excuse. I could have laid there and said, it wasn't fair. You know? You need to triumph over tragedy. You need to choose victory over being a victim. And you have that power. You do. You have to get up. It's hard because you get knocked out. I got hit in the head the last Sunday, cut my ear in half with a board. Believe me, that hurt like crazy. Cut my ear in half, 11 stitches later. But you know what I did? I was at work Monday with a concussion, and I was in the gym, which might not have been that smart, just so you know. But I'm just telling you, I'm going to get up, throw it at me, bring it, because you can't beat me, because I'm no victim. Not only am I no victim, I'm going to win. You might get me this round, but I'm coming at. There's no quit in this cat. What's in you when you get knocked down? Are you a fighter? Is that what you're going to do? Prove it. Because life's going to kick you. Okay? So now, just real quick, the traits are humility, discipline, obedience, relentless work ethic, capacity, and then give up. I'm empowering you with this information right here. What are you going to do with it? All right? So we're going to go to the next phase. And Miss Portia, you're going to read this to me. Okay? I have to read this to everybody. This is the parable of the 3 talents. Okay? Does anybody know why the letters are red?
Oh, that's what Jesus taught.
That's right. So this is Jesus. And he talked in parables. So now we're going to talk about the talents. But Portia's going to read this out loud, this whole passage. So go ahead and hit that.
Again, the kingdom of heaven can be illustrated by the story of a man going on a long trip. He called together his servants and entrusted his money to them while he was gone. He gave 5 bags of silver to one, 2 bags of silver to another, and 1 bag of silver to the last, divided it in proportion to their abilities. He then left on his trip. The servant who received the 5 bags of silver began to invest the money and earned 5 more. The servant with 2 bags of silver also went to work and earned 2 more. But the servant who received the 1 bag of silver dug a hole in the ground and hid the master's money. After a long time, their master returned from his trip and called them to give an account of how they had used the money. The servant to whom he had entrusted the 5 bags of silver came forward with 5 more and said, Master, you gave me 5 bags of silver to invest, and I have earned 5 more. The master was full of praise. Well done, my good and faithful servant. You have been faithful in handling this small amount, so now I will give you many more responsibilities. Let's celebrate together. The servant who had received the 2 bags of silver came forward and said, Master, you gave me 2 bags of silver to invest, and I have earned 2 more. The master said, well done, my good and faithful servant. You have been faithful in handling this small amount, so now I will give you many more responsibilities. Let's celebrate together. Then the servant with the 1 bag of silver came and said, Master, I knew you were a harsh man, harvesting crops you didn't plant and gathering crops you didn't cultivate. I was afraid I would lose your money, so I hid it in the earth. Look, here is your money back. But the master replied, you wicked and lazy servant. If you knew I harvested crops I didn't plant and gathered crops I didn't cultivate, why didn't you deposit my money in the bank? At least I could have gotten some interest on it. Then he ordered, take the money from this servant and give it to the one with the 10 bags of silver. To those who use well what they are given, even more will be given, and they will have an abundance. Ooh, thank you, Jesus. But from those who do nothing, even what little they have will be taken away. Now throw this useless servant into outer darkness, where they will be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Yeah, it was 2 pounds. That's Jesus. This is Jesus. This is his words talking about talent. The word talent in this case isn't necessarily just money. He's talking about your skill set. He's talking about you have talent, not necessarily money. So the question to you as we get in there, we're going to talk about money right now, right? We're going to use this to go into the money side. But before we do, I want you to understand that this is not only about money. This is about your skill, your God-given skill that God gave you. What are you doing with it? Are you burying your skill? Are you putting it in the dirt and not doing anything with it? Or are you investing it and going to expand it? Because He made you for a reason. And you got a skill. You're not an accident. You're here for a reason. You're in this room for a reason. There's a reason I'm here. Right? So just think about that. So we're going to use this and we're going to parlay it into the principles of good financial discipline. I'm sorry, excuse me one second. What's up, my brother? You want to bring him in? Okay. All right. Good to see you. Sorry about that. Okay. So we're talking about the principles of good financial discipline. Number one, money is not the goal. Money is a tool. Money is a hammer. Money is what helps you build wealth. If you look at money like it's the goal, you're being short-sighted. What are you going to do with your tool? Are you going to take that hammer and bury it? Or are you going to take this hammer and build wealth? That is the most important aspect of money that people miss. They think money's the answer. It is not. I, throughout my whole life, saved money. And we're going to go over some examples. When I lost my job, I was not in dire straits, not knowing if I could feed my family, because money was a tool to me. I had done things to prepare myself. And when we talk about these principles and stuff, about how to deal with adversity, if you can't deal with adversity, you will not be good with money. That's why I set it up this way. Because it was through these principles that I was able to overcome the adversity and not be in a position where my family wasn't going to get fed, where my mortgage wasn't going to get paid. So I want you to understand, first and foremost, if you use money right, you will gain wealth, the financial independence. You will be a real estate developer. You will have financial stability. You can be these things. But if you don't use it right, you know what this is? It's a dream. And it'll stay there. So we're going to talk about money, but first and foremost, whenever you take $1 out of your pocket, you're holding a hammer. What are you going to do with your hammer? Okay? Understand that. Okay? The other thing is, we talk about it, saving money. All right? Does everybody know how to play blackjack in here? Everybody play blackjack? See, I know, I'm in business, right? And I know a lot of business guys. And you know what I call them? Blackjack dealers. Because you know what a blackjack dealer does? He touches a lot of money, but he don't keep none of it. That's what I call those daggone business guys I know. Because they got, oh, I did this and I did that. I'm like, yeah, well, how much you got? They ain't got nothing. Because all they're doing is passing money. They're a blackjack dealer. Don't be a blackjack dealer. Save your money. At a minimum, save 10%. Every dollar you get, a minimum of 10% has to go into a savings account. Trust me on this. Save money. If it was not for me saving money, I would not have had the money saved to buy Skyzen. And guess what? I would have been still on my basement floor wondering what I was going to do. Saving money is key in order to build your tool. You need a toolbox. You got to save. And I'm going to give you an example right here, okay? So, if you save $50 every month for 40 years with a 5% rate of return, okay? So you take that $50 every month, and that $50 is earning 5%, and then you're adding 50, and it's adding 5%, and so on, okay? At only 5% rate of return. In the first year, that $50 is going to be $614. That's what you're going to save. Year 5, in 5 years, you've saved $3,400. Year 10, it's $77.64. By year 40, in 40 years, it's $76,301. Have you guys learned the miracle of compound interest? Have you ever heard of that in school? Have they taught you that? This is the miracle of compound interest. So you put in by your $50 every month, your $50 over 40 years a month is $24,000. That's what your money that you put in. But the miracle of compound interest, you earned $52,000 through the miracle of compound interest. You see what I'm saying? Money's a tool. So you save it and it works. It builds something. That built another $52,000. Look, numbers don't lie, people do. Okay? Here it is, right here. So it's a tool, and you need to save your money. The other thing, and this is in today's world, plastic money will get a lot of people in trouble. It got me in trouble when I got out of college, right? It was beer money. That was a lot of beer, okay? It got me in trouble. Do not spend more than you earn. Do not live like the federal government, just throwing the money everywhere, okay? Because we're all going to pay for it, okay? Learn to live within your means. I have always saved my money and not overspent. If I can't afford it, I don't want it because I'm doing something. Do not overspend. You have to budget your money and do not drown yourself in debt. I promise you this. If you do not manage your money well and you're in debt, you can't buy a car, you can't buy a house. All you're going to have is those clothes that are going to go out of style in 2 years that you haven't even paid for. You got to save your money, live within your means, set a budget. Again, be honest with yourself. Look, I wear jeans and work boots. And I don't overdress. This is how I roll every day. I ain't trying to impress nobody. Live within your means. Now, here's the other thing that people forget. Money can make money through the miracle of compound interest. But money, also, there's a cost to money. So if you're doing the right thing and you're investing your money and it's making money, that's a good thing. But there's a whole nother side of this. Money has a cost. So when you go buy a car, and it's the same word, interest, right? You're either receiving interest or you're paying interest, okay? But there's a cost to it. And if you do not manage your money well, guess what your interest rate's going to be? Way high, all right? That money has a cost. And I'm going to give you an example here. You always have to understand the cost of money. So let's just say you go out and you want to buy that sports car, that Camaro, right? Whatever you want. It's a $25,000 car. You're going to get a 5-year loan, right? So this will show you the difference in cost. If you are lucky enough to get 0% financing, right, for a $25,000 car, your monthly payment is going to be $417. And over the at the end of the 5-year loan, you're going to pay the same amount that the car was worth at the time, right? But if you pay 5%, you're lucky enough to get a low interest rate on your car, right? That same $417 is $472. So that $25,000 car costs you, this is what you're paying, $28,300. If your interest rate is 10%, that $25,000 car costs you what? $31,000. If you really have bad credit and they charge you 20%, that $25,000 car is $39,741. This is the cost of money. You have to understand you can make money with money, but then money has a cost. And how are you weighing? And I'll give you, here's a little quick financial example. Let's just say you're saving your money and you're getting 5% interest on your money, right?
Sorry.
That's all right.
We're gonna go over there.
Okay.
All right, cool. Come on, Jack.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, bro.
What's up? What's up?
Sorry to interrupt, guys.
Listen. So, if you're making 5% on your money, but guess what? You go out and you buy that car and you're paying 10%. You're actually losing money every month. You're not even making enough money to cover the cost of the money. But do you know that? Do you understand how that works? Now you do. So here's the biggest mistake people make when they go into the dealership. They go in there and say, I want this car, what's my payment? You know what they say? I got you. I got you. Because you haven't asked them what the cost of the loan was. They tell you the payment is $513. I can do that. You don't even know you're paying 10% interest. All you asked them what the payment was. You could have been paying that. See what I'm saying? You got to know what the cost of the money is. And this is very important too in today's world. Credit. You guys understand what your credit score is? And do you understand what that is? You know what credit is?
It controls everything you do, basically.
Right, but credit is how they look at you, right? So you have a credit score. So when you get a credit card and you're paying your bills or not paying your bills, there's a score. And they all say, okay, this is a good credit, this is bad credit. You need to understand how important it is to keep that credit score up, because that directly impacts the interest rate you're going to pay on that car. You got bad credit, you're going to pay 20%. Because guess what? You got bad credit, they're going to take a risk on you and say you're 20%. Whereas if you got good credit, you can say, you know what? He's a safe bet, she's a safe bet. Guess what? I'm going to give him 5%. That's how they're going to rate you. So you always pay your bills on time. And here's the other thing is too, this is where they get you. You get a credit card, they put this minimum payment down there. It's $30 a month. So you're telling me I can buy the TV, I can buy some clothes, and I can buy this, and all I got to pay with my credit card is $38 a month. Heck yeah, man, I'm not going to do that. But what they don't tell you is it takes you 40 years at the minimum payment to pay that back. And you done bought it 6 times.
Wow.
They don't tell you that. Always pay more than the minimum wage. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. You know how much credit card debt I carry over every month? 0. Don't want it because I'm wasting money. The cost. Most credit cards are what, 13% now? Something crazy like that? Yeah, that's their money. Right? Protect your credit. Check it, because all you guys are gonna come out, and guess what? First thing you're gonna do is get a credit card. Get one and pay it off every month. Build your credit. You need it as a tool. Remember, it's a tool, but pay it off. Okay? Don't run up credit card debt. And in this one, we're not going to get into this, all right, because this is down the road, but it's important for me to say it. Diversify your money. So what you've done, you've saved your money, you've got compound interest working for you, so you've got this tool working. Once you get enough money, then you're going to buy your house, right, which is an asset. Then maybe you're going to buy a stock, right? Some Nike or some Under Armour stock, or you're going to buy some, Amazon or something like. You're going to buy a stock. You're going to diversify, and then you're going to come over here, and then maybe you're going to buy a Sky Zone, right? And then you're going to go start this other company. But you need to learn to diversify. Don't put all your eggs, all your money in one place, because each one is going to make money. They're all going to make their own money. And at the end of the day, you want to be financially stable, you got to make sure you put them all in the right basket, right? So these are the principles of good financial discipline. One, money is a tool. Never forget that. You're going to save your money. The miracle of compound interest. You're going to not spend more than you make. You're going to know the cost of money. You're going to build your credit, and then you're going to diversify. So we're going to wrap this thing up right now. And it's important for you guys to understand this. And my testimony proves it. The first thing I want you guys to know is that God loves every one of you. You're going to feel like there's going to be times where you're going to feel forsaken. I didn't know that God loved me when I was on my basement floor. That's the truth. But I found out He did once I gave Him everything. When I turned it over to God. You are not an accident. There's a purpose for you. There's a reason you're in this room with me right now. And don't you ever, ever, ever let anybody tell you different. Don't care where it comes from. There's a purpose for you, and it's greater than what you could even imagine if you use it. There is no way that the biker-looking dude that likes to talk and weight lifts and high energy that you think is a pastor and a farmer and a leader and a dad would be in this room without God. I had to learn my purpose. I thought my purpose was to be a CEO of a construction company my entire life. I couldn't have been more wrong. I was completely out of whack. But I know what my purpose is now, is to tell you, you got a purpose. And maybe it's got to come from a crazy high energy guy like me to get it in your head. Maybe that's why it's all got to happen. Not for me to decide, but it's for me to do what God tells me to do and to create this thing. But look, we can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps. I have my plans. Proverbs 16:9. I got this in my office. You don't know what your plans are, but you surrender, you put God first, and you'll know. Here's the other thing, important. Two of the most precious commodities that you have in your life are opportunity and time. You have no control over each until you're presented with them. But when you have time and you get an opportunity, how are you maximizing it? What are you doing with your time? Are you picking up the book? Or are you playing Xbox? When you have an opportunity, you seize this opportunity to come here to enjoy some time and to listen to me. It means you already got the sense to know I need to seize the opportunity and I can have fun. But your time, here's what I've done. And this is time management is the biggest problem in today's world with everybody. You can talk to your parents, you talk to your teacher, anybody, time management. I have a schedule that I wrote. And this is true, I'm being honest, I'm just opening myself. I do my laundry every Sunday at the same time. It's mental Tetris. You put it in and you will be surprised how productive you can be. The only reason why you don't do things is fear, and we talked about fear, or you're lazy. Those are the two things that are going to hold you back. I'm not lazy, and I don't fear nothing. That grizzly bear scared me a little bit, but that wasn't fear. That was a big mean bear, right? But I'm going to tell you right now, seize both. Maximize your time. I challenge you guys to go home and go do a 7-day calendar. You got school in there, you got free time, whatever. What are you doing with your day? Put sleep in there. You know what I mean? Take that time and just color it a different color, right? And on your calendar. And believe me, you got more time than you realize. But what are you doing with it? What are you doing to be productive? What are you doing to better yourself? That's your challenge. Don't waste it. And this is another big problem in today's society. Coveting. You are special. God made you for you. You don't compare yourself to her. Don't compare you to her, or you to him, or you to me, or me to you. You got to be the best you can be. Don't covet. You have a purpose. Your purpose isn't their purpose. Your purpose is your purpose. What are you doing with your talent? Are you going to bury it? Or are you going to make more from it? But you can't work on your talent and use your talent when you're worried about hey, they can sing, I can't, I want to sing. Trust me, God didn't make me a singer. I started singing, you guys are rolling out of here quick. I'm not singing to you. But you want to know about money? You want to know about business? That's my purpose. That's why I'm here. But you be the best you can be. And here's the other thing that people do, and I don't want to get too long-winded here. Everybody remember the Challenger disaster, the space shuttle? You guys read about that? It blew up, right? Well, there's a principle called the normalization of deviation. NASA, what they did is they did a complete investigation when that happened. People died. Those astronauts died. What they found out, the cause of the accident was a 25-cent O-ring. A 25-cent O-ring killed all those people. But what they discovered, I met the astronaut that wrote this book called The Normalization of Deviation. What they found out in their research is that NASA knew that 25-cent O-ring wasn't a good deal. They had set a specification to have a better O-ring. But it didn't meet the specs, but they didn't have a problem, so they said, the heck with it, we'll just let it go. 25-cent O-ring. They deviated from their standards, and eventually it caught up to them and killed all those people. Almost destroyed the entire space shuttle program, NASA, everything, over a 25-cent O-ring. What is the 25-cent O-ring in your life? What are you deviating from to keep yourself back? Now look, I had my 25-cent O-ring. You know what I did? I fixed it. And I raised my standard of everything I do. Don't lower your standard. You've got a purpose, and you're going to be the platinum level all day, every day, all the time. I do not deviate from my standards. The people that know me think I'm a lunatic. But you know what? I got my standards. Because I'm not going to let a 25-cent O-ring destroy my world. Don't covet. Be the best you can be. And this is it right here. This is my saying. Go get it. Right? This is Jesus before he ascended into heaven. He gave a strict command. Go. Therefore, and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and of the Holy Spirit. He says go. Go is action. He doesn't say, chill out. I'll be back. He didn't say, relax. You're good. He said go. And that's what you got to do every day. You got to go. What are you doing? Are you chilling? Are you going? Not my words, God's word. You have to bring a sense of enthusiasm and passion to everything you do. When you're in school, are you bringing it? Do you want that PhD? What do you got to do to get a PhD? You got to go get it. You got to study. You want to be a real estate developer. What are you going to do? Every day you got to go get it. And I do. I don't stop. I'll sleep when I'm dead. I am not going to stop. If you do not have a sense of enthusiasm, why would you expect anybody else to have it for you? Your parents are doing everything they can, the people around you, to lift you up. They want to fill you, right? But if you don't have it, if you don't have the heart for yourself, then you're selling yourself short. You understand? You have to go get it. So, again, final comments. Know and believe God loves you and there's a plan for you. The two most precious commodities in this world are time and opportunity. Strive to be the best you can be, and then go get it. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's what you got to do every day. You're going to get knocked down, get up, and then go get it. So that's the presentation. Does anybody got any questions from me? I mean, seriously, I know it was a long-winded deal, but like you guys said, I like to talk. Anybody got anything? Any thoughts?
It's hard to ask questions like when you really said everything.
Yeah, well, what do you think? What did you get out of this?
It was my man. I'm just basically like trying to get a little feel like what you do for.
Well, what I do?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I bought both Sky Zones, right? So what I personally do is I manage, what I do every day is I handle the accounting and the financial side of the business. I'm lucky enough, I got a good team. Michael's on the team right here. I've known him for how many years now? 4 or 5 years? 4 years. He's been here since we've opened, right? So I empower people. Michael is a prime example of what we're talking about right here. Talking about seizing the opportunity. Michael came here as a court monitor. Now he's a manager in training. So what I do here, how I operate, is I say, okay, I'm providing the opportunity for employment, but there is a brass ring. There is room to advance yourself. But who's going to go get it? Mike, I'm not going to give it to Michael if he ain't working hard. If Michael's not showing an interest in this business, if he's not wanting to work hard, it's not. I'm just saying, hey, I like you. You're pretty cool. No, he earned it. He stepped up. He did it. So my job is to provide the opportunity. His job is to seize it, to utilize his time and seize the opportunity. So I handle the accounting, and I got people like Michael that go get it. Hey, you're the face of Sky Zone. Make me proud. Do your job. You empower people. You give them the chance to be better. That's what this does. That's what makes this so special, this culture that we have. It's about love. It's about respect of one another. So all I do, I'm just an accountant. That's all I am. But then I got a construction management firm. I'm out walking curb and in the dirt every day. Go to my construction. Michael went with me. And real estate developer, who said that? You said that? Yeah. That's what I do, too. I'm a real estate developer. I work for real estate developers, and I walk the construction sites. And I write contracts, and I do all that stuff on the construction side. But every day is filled with something productive. So what am I going to do? Sit around and watch a movie? You know what I mean? I'll go outside and throw the football with my son. I make sure I do that. Sit down and talk to my daughter. So I'm a dad too, right? You got to do that stuff. But if you have no idea how much time you have to be productive until you map it out and you start filling in the gaps. You don't know how smart you can be until you test yourself. Believe me, you guys are, I see it. I don't see any dummies in this room. I see some smart people. because you're part of this organization. You already see the benefit of it. That's intelligence. See what I'm saying? Any other questions? What do you think? Or you guys just ready to go jump and hit your head on my ceiling?
Yeah.
You're ready, right?
Mr. Paul, what motivates you?
Ooh. You know, if you asked me that question 5 years ago, I would say that I had it all wrong, and that would be money, right? It would be the wrong thing. Now, you know what motivates me? Is this. Is sharing this story. And what I want to know, I challenge everybody in here in a couple years, you better contact me and say what you're doing. Because if only one of you in here take this and it changed your life, I succeeded by doing this, right? But it's not mine. See, this is the thing, these are God's words, and God used me as a tool. All I am is his tool. That's it. But I'm going to tell you what I'm going to be the best hammer he's got. But maybe I'm not the saw. I'm just a hammer. Okay. Because I'm not going to covet. I'm not going to say, well, maybe I should be doing this over here. No, if this is where he wants me, I'm good with that. Right? Being content and being complacent are two different things. I'm content with whatever God wants me to do, but I won't be complacent. I'm going to go get it every day. You know, if you ask me that question, every day I get up and I go to the gym. I'm 52 years old. I go to the gym 5 days a week. That's how I start my day. Every day. And I don't eat trash food. I work out. I work. I live a clean life. I try to be a good husband, a good dad, a good boss. Those things motivate me. That's what matters. I mean, because you know what? Yeah, I bought myself a little bounce house. But we doing some good stuff with a bounce house, right? That's what matters. You know?
So one more question, Mr.
Sure.
Paul. So really good presentation, first of all. So what are some things that you see as challenges in everything that you have to do? Because clearly you're responsible for our lives. So what are some things that challenge you in everything that you have to do?
The hardest part right now is I have the same challenges everybody does. We're fighting a world right now that doesn't want this. They don't want us loving each other. What they want is they want division and hate, and that's the hardest thing. But you know what we do? We overcome it because these walls are sacred, right? But I'm facing the same thing you guys are, just the noise. Everything out there is just wants to create divide. And that's why this is so important. And here's the other thing. Raymond, come here for a second, buddy. I want to introduce you to my buddy here. Because here's a story that is going to blow y'all's mind. Raymond and I met at Sky's Own Buoy when I opened Buoy. Raymond is in charge of this group of young men. He's got a mentor group. And we just met by happenstance, just like you and me, Porsche, right? I mean, just like we did, right? Just that type of something bringing you together, okay? Well, Raymond and I started talking. He's like, well, I got this mentor group and stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, let me know how I can help you. And the good thing is he ain't shy, as you can tell, right? He's like, so Raymond and I talked. He's like, hey, I'm going to take you up on your offer, Paul. I want to bring kids in. I want you to talk to them. I'm like, okay, cool. What do you want me to talk about? He goes, I don't know. We're talking about finances in our mentor group. I'm like, okay. So the Saturday, we were going to meet on a Saturday morning. Friday night, I took these big old sticky pads, right, and sat down at my kitchen table and prayed on it and created the baseline to this program we have here. So Raymond was kind enough to bring his kids in. We went through the first rendition of this program. And Raymond's like, that was pretty good. I'm like, well, thank you. And next thing you know, because of what Raymond challenged and empowered me with, I started tweaking it and it grew. And since then, I've presented this to the Lanham Christian School, church youth groups, and it grew from a happen chance meeting of just two people that share a passion